The last question will go first to Chris. As a judge or prospective judge, what do you consider your greatest strengths and weaknesses?
Well, my greatest strength as a judge is that I am the judge and I have the experience being the judge. I was picked to be the judge based on the qualities that I possess that are the right mix for being a judge. My intellect, my temperament in the courtroom, my integrity, all are without question. Being a judge is a difficult job. It's a serious job. It takes great work ethic. And if you go by the courthouse on the weekend, you can see my car there and Judge Follett's car there because we're both working most weekends. I have the experience in this position. As I mentioned, new judges are required in their first 2 years on the bench to do mandatory training. I've completed all that mandatory training. There are also additional voluntary trainings that you can do that I've done, and there's ongoing training that occurs as well. To be a judge, you also need to be fair. You need to understand the law. You need to apply the law based on the facts of the case and make decisions that are respected and uphold people's belief in the integrity of the judicial system. I love this job and I love being able to serve my community. And I've earned the respect and confidence of other judges who I think are in the best possible position to evaluate the type of job that I'm doing. As far as weaknesses go, any judge will tell you that no matter what your experience is, there is a steep learning curve. And so my weakness is, I'm a new judge, I'm still learning. But I can tell you I'm 2 years farther along on that learning curve, and I have received the highest compliments and marks from other judges and people who appear in my courtroom as far as the job that I'm doing.
Darren, same question, please.
Oh, thank you. Now, unlike my opponent, I have actually practiced in all areas of law that comes before the court, so having an in-depth experience much greater than her. For the past 17 years, I've done over 100 trials. I've done over 8,000 court appearances. I've literally seen every kind of case walk through that door, and I'm familiar with everything that will come before a judge, most likely. So I have a lot more depth than she does. That massive amount of experience means things will move along a lot quicker. With my strength, I'll make decisions instead of taking them under submission. I'll deal with them right then and there, thus saving people from having to come back time and time and time again, paying the lawyers extra money and things of that nature. That experience also means I bring common sense. With that common sense, I've seen so many cases, especially with hardened criminals, that I know when I'm getting conned. When I know that's happening, and I can see people who are redeemable. I've seen them before, and I've seen it happen time again, and know what will work because I've done it 8,000 times over. Those are the strengths that I bring. I also bring the strength of actually having a plan to improve their lives. I'm going to bring in better intervention for juveniles, drug court and drug programs for juveniles to try to break the circle of violence that we see, the circle of drug abuse for our future. I plan to bring back a telephonic warrant system because crime doesn't stop after 5 p.m. None of this is done now. If you're an elected official, you need to be proactive, and these are the things I'm going to bring forward because I've been doing it for 17 years. Thank you.
Darren, I'm going to go ahead and have you do the first closing statement, please.
Now, one of the most important things to realize as an elected official is I work for you. It seems like people who run for office often forget about that until it comes to election time. So my primary job as an elected official is to make your life better, to make improvements. And number one thing that should always concern a judge is we deal mostly with criminal law in this community, so it's obviously public safety. That means I have to deal with hardened criminals and try to break that circle of violence. That means truly implement the substance abuse programs that I'm talking about with the juveniles, identify them early on in the process, even in the juvenile delinquency stage. where you can see that they're coming from broken families and give them early intervention programs. That is crucial for our future if we want a decent society to live in. I have the experience to recognize bad plea deals. I've done it so many times. I have the experience of being able to predict when I see a crime and what a good or bad deal is, or someone deserves probation. I can almost predict what's going to be the outcome. Those are all important issues to consider when you vote for the next judge. My opponent talks about she's 2 years ahead of me, but I'm 17 years ahead of her on the trial system. I can assist and develop a better legal system here by implementing those programs I'm talking about, getting a telephonic warrant system because crime doesn't stop after 5 o'clock, taking cases under submission is complete non-necessity when you actually have the experience. We have a lot of people who go here and they're before the court in small claims. They won't hear their matter and have a decision made on in months. That's just a terrible waste of time. We need to have proactive elected officials who are able to make decisions then and there based on their experience, not just a year and a half. Thank you.
Chris, your closing statement, please.
Well, I'd like to thank again the Tea Party for sponsoring this event tonight. I'd also like to thank all of you for coming out. I would just like to deal with some of the issues that have brought up. First, my opponent and I both applied for this position. We both went through the same process. I was the person who was picked for the job. If the right predictor for being a good judge was being a trial attorney, then if what my opponent is saying is true, then he would have been picked. Obviously, that is not the right mix of qualities to be a good judge. I think it's great that you have ideas. I would like to see where the money is to pay for these programs. I deal with the budget for the courts. The courts in California have had $1 billion with a B taken out of their budget in the last 5 years. In our county, we have struggled mightily to keep courtrooms open. We have been able to keep courtrooms open. We have not had to lay off personnel. That's not what other counties can say. Over half of the counties have had to cut back on the services they provide. We are still struggling to do our job and to provide the services that we can to people. So I think it's great to propose new programs. I think that as a judge, you need to be realistic that you're one person as part of a team, and you need to work in collaboration with other people to provide programs that will actually work and help. Telephonic warrants are available in this county. They require certain structures to be set up. Our local law enforcement has never used them. Judge Follett and I have always indicated we are willing to do telephonic warrants. We are available 24/7 to do our job. And I've been doing this job. I look forward to continue to serving the people of this community. Thank you.
I would like to thank you for all attending. A couple quick things. The candidates will be in the back of the room, as well as Randy, to accept questions